And here's the overall update rule. This is the backpropagation algorithm for training a neural network. We recall that you implement forward propagation on every example to find its class. For every misclassified example, you execute backpropagation, and you do this by performing gradient descent. How you do that is elaborated below. You start with the last layer, thereafter you go down up to L equals 2 and use the computations of the later layers into the preceding layers. So we are just putting together a whole bunch of computations. The partial derivative of E with respect to Wij involves, by chain rule, the partial derivative of E with respect to sigma j from the nth layer into the partial derivative of the sigma j L with respect to the sum at the nth layer or at the jth node, and the partial derivative of the sum with respect to Wij, which is sigma IL minus 1. There is an additional component which comes from the regularizer, which we have temporarily missed out, and that basically will amount to the shrinking parameter minus lambda. It will be a minus lambda times Wij. These iterations are continued till there are misclassified examples. For inseparable data sets, there will always be misclassified examples. So you continue until there is significant reduction in the error function. When no more significant reduction in the error function is possible, one might stop. In practice, one often resorts to some random permutation of the weights and restart a couple of times, go over the entire algorithm from the scratch. This is primarily to counter non-convex nature of the error function. So the error function that we have discussed, which is regularized cross entropy, when evaluated across the weights on all layers, turns out to be non-convex. It can have multiple local minima. So the goal of random perturbations of weights to restart is to help move from possible local minima, possible valley, into a point that coincides with descent direction for some other valley. And the hope is that this new point leads you to a better valley. Since that may not be the case always, you might need to do this restart a couple of times. There are of course several tweaks and variants associated with these restarts.